The Ethics of Time Travel, Back to the Future Edition. Have you ever asked yourself, if given the opportunity to time travel, would you alter your own timeline? Would you manipulate the future of humankind for the better? Let's take a look at one of cinema's most celebrated sci-fi films to find out if you should. In Back to the Future, Marty McFly is invited by scientist Dr. Emmett Brown to witness his latest experiment. Doc unveils a time-traveling DeLorean and preps a trip to 11/5/1955, the day he first conceived the idea of time travel. But pissed-off terrorists interrupt and shoot Doc Brown dead. Marty manages to escape through time to 1955, and he disrupts the flow of history after getting pummeled by the car that his father was supposed to have been hit by. As a result, a younger version of his mother gets all hot for him. There's also a jerk named Biff who bullies George. Marty ends up finding Doc's younger self and attempts to normalize the tangled timeline by having his parents kiss. But they don't. At least not until Biff forces himself onto Lorraine and George comes to the rescue. Marty returns to the clock tower as the lightning strikes, sending him back to 1985 to find that his father is a successful author and Lorraine is living large. All is well and the future is saved, until Doc Brown appears with a warning and warps them back to the future for part 2. So, curious how all this time travel was possible? Well, it was all thanks to a flux capacitor. What's a flux capacitor? Truth is, we don't really know, because it's imaginary, at least for now. But time travel is theoretically possible thanks to quantum mechanics. With Einstein's equations, if you plug in faster than light velocity, you get backwards time travel. This is due to a hypothetical particle called tachyons, which move faster than light. Theoretically, if a flux capacitor was developed and was able to generate tachyons in order to travel backwards in time, you'd likely be faced with something called the butterfly effect. If you step on the wrong butterfly, you'll change the universe. However, it won't be the universe that you were born into, but rather a new universe that you've created. This is where paradoxes come in. According to Einstein, time is a river. It can speed up, slow down, whirlpool, even fork in different directions. When Marty McFly travels in the DeLorean, the river of time forks, and a parallel universe with a new timeline is created. If you could time travel, does that mean you should alter your timeline even if it isn't the same timeline you were born into? Maybe. Let's take a look at some examples. When the DeLorean is first revealed, Doc and Marty meet in the parking lot of the Twin Pines Mall. Moments later, when Marty travels backwards in time, he crashes into a farmhouse and is chased by a gun-wielding farmer. Marty speeds away, but in doing so, runs over the farmer's pine tree. Fast forward towards the end of the film, when Marty travels back to the Twin Pines Mall, we now see that something's changed. The Twin Pines Mall is now called the Lone Pine Mall. That tree that Marty had run over triggered the butterfly effect. And although this event didn't drastically alter the course of the future, other events could have done a lot worse. Take George and Lorraine's kiss. If Marty had prevented his parents from having their first smooch, he likely would have never been born, at least not in the parallel universe he traveled to. Every action has a reaction, and with numerous people comes numerous actions. In the end, Marty changed his parents' lives for the better, and that bully Biff was made into a loser. But while we cheer at our heroes win, we don't know who else was affected by the outcome. What if Biff and his father were wealthy and his mother was poor, left with nothing after their divorce? Maybe she had cancer, and the only reason she was beating the cancer was because Biff was paying for her chemotherapy. With Biff defeated, his mother could have been too. It all comes down to the fact that a trillion different actions took place just for George and Lorraine to have their first kiss. Any action, no matter how small, can have adverse effects on people all over the world. So what do you think? Is time travel ethical? We say yes, but only if you lay down some ground rules before hopping in that DeLorean. And keep your visit to observation only. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, maybe subscribe, and we'll see you next time, future travelers.